Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on this special broadcast. We are on the road of Boyam, where the 24th edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope is on course. Over 275 athletes of the 525 have taken the center stage to climb up the mountain, some 22 kilometers up and 22 kilometers down for a grand prize of over 10 million CFA francs. The race is on course. It was kickstarted this morning by the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Welekombi, who, of course, indicated that sport is a very reputable tool to bring peace in Cameroon, and said those who are politicizing sport or using sport for to settle scores are on the wrong side of history, because sport is only there to unite the people. Of course, it's a very, very desirable year. This Saturday, the 23rd of February 2019, but the athletes are already on course going up to the mountain. They are somewhere around the Clerk's Quarters Inn. They are ascending up to the governor's office, where, of course, they are making their way right up to Upper Farms, where they eventually go to the mountain. Of course, we are somewhere around the GEO's office. That's in Boya Town, if we have to go correctly. And we're getting a small crowd that is cheering the athletes. And you can see the mountain over there. They have to climb up the mountain right up to the summit before they claim the over 10 million CFA francs. Of course, the athletes are very, very geared up, energetic to make this amid tight security that, of course, is making them and assured that their security is not into jeopardy. Of course, they are around the Boyerton, around the governor's office at the moment, and they are ascending very soon. They reach at Upper Farms, where eventually they take center stage to the mountain that, of course, is where they would eventually be indicating their prowess. This is the roundabout around the governor's office, and of course they are already en route to the Upper Farms. This is the central police station where they are presently coming over to Upper Farms. This small round tells us that the athletes are very, very much energetic this morning, and of course, they feel that amidst the socio-economic climbing up to the military barracks, of course, we want to apologize for the break in transmission. It is not easy trying to get over to this end amidst all the difficulties. We are saying that we're going to bring you images of what is transpiring in this part of Boya. Of course, just to inform you that the athletes did not come as expected. Of course, many of the foreigners did not make it to the mountain because of visa issues. Some also attributed the security concerns as their reason not to come to Boya. But then the small committed number that came in say they're determined to, of course, seize that for grabs for the first prize in this year's edition of Mount Cameroon Race of Hope. We are at Upper Farms already in indications to climbing the mountain, and we see athletes some 8:30 a.m. this morning. We shall be expecting these athletes back in the field of play. That is at the Moliko Omispo Stadium, right at something, say, at 12 p.m. or so. That's at midday. But then at the moment, they're still ascending the mountain amid the tight security that we have it. Earlier today, security was assured by the various regional authorities who say the military, the forces of law and order, and of course the paramilitary have been stationed from the Moliko Omispo Stadium right up to the summit of the mountain, and as such, security is very much assured. Of course, we have many people who have already climbed up the mountain already. That's very many athletes who have climbed up the mountain already, and they are trying to make sure they grab. But if you are still down, I believe they are clinging on the wise saying that small picking collars the sharp now for morning. I mean, in quote unquote in pidgin. That is to say, those who that's your attitude determines your altitude. It's not how fast you make it, but it's how far you do it. Let's see how, of course, that is going to come into play, because the athletes are here and they are trying to make their own impression and expression by climbing up. This is how far we can go up the mountain. We'll try to see if I know the car that is transporting the people would not be able to make it further than this. So this is how far the van is going to end. But you see, this is upper farms, and of course these are people who are making their way into the mountain. These are people who are getting into the mountain. They are going to get into the real part of the mountain. That of course is they get into the forest part of the mountain. Before then they get into hot 1, and then hot 2, that is in the savannah, hot 3, that is in the colder part of the mountain, and of course then the summit. We shall be getting satellite images from that part of it. But for now, this is upper farms, and this is where the athletes take their strongest team to make it to the mountain. Because from every indication, we barely have any athlete that is, of course, if you are coming in, I think that majority of them have already made it up to the forest part of the mountain, and of course, we see somebody, a gentleman, that is taking so much of his time. We don't know. Maybe his friends are already somewhere midway into the forest, trying to reach into head 1, but he's still here at Upper Farms taking so much of his time. Well, we know there's so many people come to the race for different reasons. Others come for safari trip. Others just come to flex their muscles and get interested. I mean, not everybody is coming to really grab the prize per se, but this one man we see taking so much of his time, gesticulating and doing all of those things. Maybe he's one of those people who have come just for safari trip rather than winning the prize that has been allocated for this mountain race. However, that saying still goes that it's not how fast you go, it's how far, because there are some very challenging moments in there are some challenging moments in this race. Say, for instance, getting into the savannah, very steep, very difficult, and of course, it only takes but God for you to grab that moment, to pass that moment, and of course win the prize. We still have many people who are still down coming over. There's still a big crowd that is coming. Over 70 people have passed us since we stood here, indicating that a good number of people are still climbing. Yeah, a good number of people are still ascending. But just to indicate that the junior category also has been into they have entered in between this main category, and just to indicate that they will end at head one. That is your ending, because they cannot make it up to the summit, given the very tight sport challenges that they may have. So they end at head one. So we may be expecting them from 11 a.m. or so. All right, if you're just tuning in, you're live in Boya, the regional capital of the Southwest region, where the 24th edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope is currently on course. We are some 15 minutes to 8 o'clock, rather some 40 minutes to 8 o'clock, and already the race started. The athletes already covered a distance of about 16 kilometers or so out of 22 kilometers that they have to climb. A very short kilometer, just say something between Upper Farms and the mountain is something between 10 or 8 kilometers, but the difficulty there is the steepness of the hill that is going to be there. Well, High TV had the opportunity to mount the mountain. We had some reporters who climb up the mountain that's on the eve of the race, and they did indicate that it has been a very challenging moment. The hill that's Upper Farms right up to Savannah and so on have not really been cleared off. The fairness, the grandeur that this had always characterized this race has not been was not felt as they climbed up the hills, because we still found grass, or they found grass along that part of it, in giving the impression that of course there's still so much work to be done. I want to thank Collins Takam, cameraman, who is doing so much of a great job. He is climbing more than the upper farms where we have been stuck, because no car can move up. I don't know how much kilometers I can cover myself climbing up this place where they are going, but I think that Collins is going as far as possible to get some fresh images. So kudos to you, Collins Takam, for that great job. We also want to thank Gerard Nanji-Eyambe, who is somewhere stationed around the stadium, shall be giving us a very interesting report from that part of the race. Just to say that we at High TV shall be giving you live images in moments from now, but the technical work has still been the technicalities are still being done to make sure live images come on TV. But on our social media page, we're trying to give you the sounds and colors on what is transpiring in Boya at the moment. And of course, you who just tune in, these are live images from Upper Farms, where over 275 athletes have braved the odds, the security challenges, to of course make it to the mountain. We want to guess that the first athletes, those who have been going very powerfully, must have, they may be finding themselves somewhere around head one at the moment. They got the likes of Godlove Gasibwem, may just be finding themselves somewhere around head one now, and going upward. All right. This is somebody already coming down. This should be the veteran. Somebody is already coming down. I don't want to believe this person has given up. Or maybe he started his earlier than normal. People keep wondering, how come that man, he's the first to start coming down. I don't want to believe the unbelievable, but I believe he's giving up his race well, just before he even made it to head one. All right, it is going. The race is on course, and of course, those who didn't believe that the race is going to take place in Boya because of security reasons are indeed the backside of history, because the race is on course, and security is very tight. Almost everyone is a suspect, I want to say. And you who is doing your thing at your own level, you must show great signs of not being a security challenge. Of course, you shall be wiped out of the scene. So everyone standing, everyone doing their thing has at the back of their mind that security is of the essence and priority, and he who is not in on course with the security aspect may of course be wiped out of the scene. The race is still on course. We might be taking a break per se, and we shall be coming back to get the sounds and colors. Collins has gone far up. We may be getting some images from Collins on what is happening. But the junior category, the cadet category, you see young boys who have braved the odds. This is a Kenyan who, of course, has had earlier indicated that he will win the junior category. Young boys of about 12 years or so are making their waves by climbing the Mount Cameroon, which of course is the second largest mountain in Africa after Mount Kilimanjaro. And of course, it is showing its strength by absorbing close to 300 or so athletes who shall brave the odds to ascend the mountain this day. Well, this is an athlete climbing with a flag. We don't know the significance of that, but the athlete is showing his patriotic powers, and he is ascending with a flag to demonstrate that he is more patriotic. I don't know how that is going to play in his winning the race, but that's one among many athletes who are, of course, ascending the Mount Cameroon. That's the Cameroon Mountain, or the Fako Mountain this day. This is another one with a Cameroon flagged short, of course, ascending the mountain equally. It's indeed a very fantastic moment in Boya today. Lots of security challenges. The usual ambience that characterize the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope is almost out, almost not there. Just to say that it's very difficult because no vehicles. There is the famous ghost town that has gripped the Boya municipality for quite a long time. Only this week we've had close to 4 out of 5 days we've had ghost towns, and now of course this is another ghost town that we have in the municipality. No vehicle, no vehicle besides that of the military is moving. Well, let's say a few others that have been permitted to do so are also moving. So it's a very tight situation in the Boya municipality. This is an ambulance. I think this is the only place it may be able to pass. Of course, to pass, we